This is going to be a power-packed video of my tiny home located in North Florida. I'm going to show you how I got water into the tiny home, but more importantly, how I got the gray water matter out of the tiny home so I could take showers and use the sink. I'm also going to show you how I caulked around all the windows and I caulked around all the seams in the walls and how I painted the bathroom area. And then I'm also going to tell you how much I have spent as far as home improvements are concerned for both of the tiny homes, this one as well as the one in Tennessee, Newport, Tennessee. And then lastly, I'm going to show you a 360 of my tiny home, inside the tiny home, after I painted all the walls. All of that coming up next. All right, I apologize, but I'm going to hold the microphone up to my mouth as it's currently raining, and therefore I think the sound quality would be better. That being said, this is the area where I get water into the tiny home. There's a valve here, and when the valve is turned toward the pipe as it is now, or the hose, it's on, and when it's turned in the opposite direction, it's off. I had to add a shark bite, which I did here with some tape. This is my hose running to the hose outlet where I'm getting water. But I had to resolve an issue with regards to water inside the tiny home first. Water into the tiny home until this clamp was actually tightened. Unfortunately, who did it did not check it and it was loose. I had to get a new clamp and get it tightened before we put water into the tiny home. I am underneath my tiny home, and as you can see, there is a hole where the gray water goes. That's exciting. I am sitting outside of my tiny home in North Florida on a hot and humid late evening, or late afternoon, I should say, early evening. And tomorrow morning, I am going to get the gray water, getting the gray water out of the tiny home. Gray water would be considered that water in the shower, and that comes from the sink. Once again, my tiny home here in North Florida has a compost toilet, so I don't need to deal with the black water or the urine. That will be dealing with itself. And then we're going to get water to the tiny home, all of that tomorrow, so I'm quite excited. Now, this is what I came up with. Now, first of all, I want to thank my Christian brother Joseph that lives in Tallahassee for this piece here. I actually went to a local plumbing store, gave him a picture of the particular piece that's coming down from under in the tiny home and told him what it was, and they came up with this particular device, which is called a DWV, and that stands for Drain, Waste, Vent. So when I stuck this gizmo directly into that area, it fit it perfectly. This is 3-inch, both these other things, and what's going to happen is I've got 3 pieces here, 1, 2, 3, actually more than that, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and this will get the drain water out of the tiny home, and we're going to do that tomorrow. I've got somebody coming by to help me, and we're going to get water to the tiny home. I'll be able to take a shower, be able to shave, and be able to use the kitchen sink and take a shower in a day or two, and that is exciting. Welcome to my tiny home in North Florida. Yes, there's not much here. My bed is right here underneath me, and other than that, I'm working in a favorable direction. Now, I arrived on Tuesday, July the 4th. It was late in the afternoon, and this is now Friday in the morning, about 11 o'clock, and I have yet to take a shower. Sorry. Look away. Yes, I have the gray water matter taken care of. It was dealt with yesterday. I've got water coming into the tiny home, which was good. However, I don't have a shower rod to go with my shower curtain, so I've yet to be able to take a shower, but I promise you I will. So if you're a few miles away in Tallahassee, Florida, or whether you're 1,000 miles away in the United States or across the United States, whatever country you're watching. Thank goodness you can't smell me this morning, but I will be getting in a better position soon. I have spent the last 4 hours this morning caulking the windows and the seams in my Incred-I-Box. It's an 8x16 Incred-I-Box. Folks, if you own an Incred-I-Box, whether it's an 8x16 or an 8x20, you're going to have gaps in your walls, and you're going to have gaps certainly along the windows. And if you want to do a more finished job, get you some caulk and caulk that. It's very time consuming, obviously, but it will give you a more finished product. Now I've got to continue to finish and paint with the finished paint, but that's where I'm at on a Friday morning. I wanted to invite you into my tiny home. And you may say, gosh, what the heck is taking you so long to get going and getting it furnished? Well, it's all about details, and I'm getting there, and I'll show you more coming up next. It is Saturday morning, and I'm going to actually caulk before I do the finished paint in the morning. In the past, I have been doing the finished painting and then caulking afterwards, but I'm going to try caulking before I finish the paint. Friendly reminder, if you stay till the end of the video, I'm going to do a complete 360 to show you everything that I have in my tiny home, so stay tuned. Alright, I'm sitting on my twin bed in my living room. Keep in mind this is only an 8x16, 8 feet wide, 16 feet deep. It's the smallest tiny home that Incredible Tiny Homes builds, and this is what I've got in the North Florida area. What do you think about my lamp? I got that in, and as you walk in the front door, this is the only light you have. You turn it on and off with a switch next to the door as you walk in, and there you go. Now, while I'm sitting on here, you know, buying a tiny home that's just the beginning, folks. I have spent considerable amount of money between the two tiny homes that I have, just getting them up to speed and livable. Most of these homes are going to be DIY, do it yourself. And I'm going to go through some costs and be a little personal with you and tell you what I have spent, give or take, for two tiny homes. All right? So let's go through that. Paint and painting materials, $3,000. Now, you may say, gosh, that's a lot of money. Well, it is a lot of money, but keep in mind, I used the Sherwin-Williams paints, primer and paints, the DTM acrylic for both the primer and the finished paints. It's not cheap paint, okay? But I think it's well worth it, all right? All the materials that I have gotten as well, and I've spent an awful lot of materials. Delivery cost to deliver the 8x16 home from Newport, Tennessee, down to North Florida, which is outside of Havana, was $2,000. All right? 3 twin mattresses from Brooklyn Bedding. These are great mattresses, roughly $600 each. There's 3 of them, $1,800. Storage bed for the tiny home in Tennessee. This was a piece of furniture that was made for me that gets the bed elevated on a frame with 2 drawers coming out. I'll show you some pictures of that. That was $1,500. Dedicated electric for my Florida home. Remember, I'm under a pole barn, so I didn't want to share utilities with the owner's utilities that is coming above me. I wanted to get a dedicated electricity coming directly to my tiny home for my 30 amp. That was $1,200. Travel costs, gas between the 2 homes and so forth, and food. Probably this is maybe on the lower side, $750 for all those trips that I've made. And then miscellaneous costs, shower curtains, rods, cookware, all this stuff, little plates and so forth, which I don't have all the plates, $500. You add all that up, we came out to $10,750, roughly a little over $5,000 per home. Those are the costs for my home improvements. As you walk into my tiny home, this is what you see. The bed is to the left, kitchen counter in the center. Living in a tiny home, you're only a few feet away from your living area, sleeping area, to your kitchen counter and so forth. Here is my smokeless grill. This is a grill and a griddle, and I haven't decided whether I'm going to leave it there or I may put it underneath this area. In addition, I need to get a induction portable cooktop, which could go underneath the counter as well, or here. And I haven't decided whether it's going to be a 2-burner or a 1-burner, but my thinking is I'll get a 2-burner induction cooktop. Now, what I've purchased here is a device that I have got from the Container Homes in Atlanta. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that up here, install it, and then what I will do is I will hang at least 2 of the frying pans up there. I plan on getting some shelving here. It may be floating shelves, or it just may be some metal shelves or wood shelves. And then I plan on getting a towel rack. And then, of course, you've got your drawers, which are soft close drawers, which will help out accordingly. And that'll help out as well. So here is my kitchen counter. Oh, and I've got a sink and a item for cutting boards there. The last room of my tiny home is going to be my bath, which includes a shower and my compost toilet. Here is my compost toilet. I'm sitting on it, not using it. As far as what I'm using, I use this peat moss, and I'm currently using it. Now, as far as a compost toilet is, you might want to say, well, why didn't you get a regular toilet? Well, I couldn't get a regular toilet because, once again, I'm under a pole barn. I'm at a friend's place and property, and I didn't want to go through the expense of getting either a septic tank or hooking it up to a sewer system. So that's why I went with a compost toilet. It's not that big a deal. For the number ones, I dump that out about once a week. And for the bowel movements, we're talking about disposing it about a week and a half. So what's that? Twice a month? So it's not that big a deal. You get used to it. Now, obviously, I've got to build some shower or some towel racks and some racks behind me to get some stuff on the walls. But this is my bathroom. We've done a 360. Now you're going to see my door and the last part, which is my refrigerator. I went with a 4.5 cubic refrigerator. This is by Magic Chef. And I went with that with a small freezer and obviously space for food and drinks, because I primarily wanted to get the microwave, which would be across the way and on the counter. As you saw earlier, if you watched all the video, there's not a lot of room on the kitchen counter for either a computer, cookware, or whatever. So I wanted to get the microwave up and in this area above my refrigerator. And then above that is the hot water heater. The hot water heater is a 16-gallon hot water heater. Plenty of gallons to be able to take a 3 to 4 minute shower. And then you've got my door, interior door, which will be painted the same color as my walls, which was Blue Horizon. Once again, a Sherwin-Williams Blue Horizon, and that will be painted. So you have seen a 360 of my interior house here at North Florida, and thanks for viewing. I just started and finished a video in and on site here in North Florida. I didn't do any production or any editing in my brother's lovely home in Atlanta. That must be great news. I must be getting close to being livable in my tiny home here in North Florida, and I hope that's the case in Tennessee as well. If you are a subscriber, thank you so much for subscribing. Please hit the like button. If you have any comments, I'm always open to comments and I'll get back with you. If you're not a subscriber, come on and enjoy my journey, as I've got 2 tiny homes that I'm going to be going back and forth from. And I also want to say, you know, I just had to order window treatments or blinds for this home today, and I forgot that earlier. So between the 2 homes, the one in Tennessee and the one in North Florida, I spent about $1,600 in window treatments. So we've got to add that $1,600 to the $10,750 and come up with a new total regarding home improvements. Thank you for watching, and you have a blessed day.